Education is so key to me. It's the solution to many of the problems in Midtown.
In Midtown Kingston, there was an outcry in this one area called education. Everybody agreed that it was the one thing that could really make a difference.
You know, she's made a strong point about education. I can't tell you how important it is. In high school, I wasn't a good student. I wasn't a good student at all. I was such a poor student that my guidance counselor told me, well, maybe you can find a job and hold on to it. I was not encouraged.
The recommendation by the high school guidance counselor for Kevin Bryant to get a job and stick to it was wrong. Actually, Kevin Bryant's an attorney running for Ulster Family Court judge. In his high school years, he could have resembled any one of these young African American men. How do we know which one of them will be the next Kevin Bryant? We don't. And therefore, each and every black student who attends school not only has the right to, but should be encouraged.
I was not encouraged
to be the most that they could possibly be. The percentage of black students in Kingston High School who graduated within 4 years of starting high school was 45% in year 2010. That means that less than half the black students who attended Kingston High School in that year were likely to graduate. That also meant that students who attended schools in the two cities, Newburgh and Poughkeepsie, with the highest rates of violent crimes were more likely to graduate high school in a 4-year time frame than black students who attend high school in the city of Kingston. It is true that specific areas in the city of Kingston have elevated levels of rape, robbery, assaults, burglaries, thefts, auto thefts, arson, and even murder. But what I have found is that increased levels of crime in specific areas does not limit the ability level of the people who are living in those areas. So I conducted a study, and I did go into this study with some preconceived notions. But I wanted to see if there was anything concrete to support what I already believed to be true.
Half the people in the high school, their parents are wealthy. Our parents go through struggles. Our parents go through a lot of stuff, I think. So to be honest, I don't think this is going to.
I think some teachers can relate because some teachers been through the struggle like us too. So that's what I think. Not all teachers.
Yeah, same. I think some can too, but majority don't.
Do you feel like teachers can relate to you? Honestly, I feel like the teachers cannot relate to me because 99% of the teachers in my school are older Caucasian, and I'm obviously a younger African American, and my classes are not very diverse at all. Sometimes I'm usually 1 out of 5 or maybe even 6 African Americans in my class, so no, I don't feel like they relate to me at all.
They're not out here seeing what we seeing or living how we living right now.
What about you?
They don't know. They just don't.
Most teachers don't really ask about you. They just, they look at you and see how you do in class or when you're in school, and they think that's how you act. But when you're outside of school, they think, oh, you're negative peer, you're not a positive peer, so I don't think a teacher can relate.
The study that I conducted was based on a small sample of cities with populations ranging between 20 and 30,000 people. Each city is also comparable in size and location. They include Ossining, Peekskill, Middletown, Newburgh, Poughkeepsie, and Kingston. The city of Middletown has a much greater population of minority students than the City of Kingston. The reported challenges of increasing graduation rates and academic performance among minorities include immigration and issues on the home front, such as poverty, crime, and lack of family involvement. However, Middletown, with nearly double the amount of Black and Latino students, was able to graduate Black students at 87%. In comparison, Kingston, 69%. And again, Ossining has roughly double the amount of Blacks and Latinos living in the city, and yet Ossining has only half of the crime rates that we are experiencing in the City of Kingston. The crime rate doesn't necessarily dictate how well minorities can do in school. There's such a small number of Black people living in the City of Kingston. This small community is having such a hard time graduating. It would seem that it would be easier to manage since there's so few. You might only have 100 Black students. And if they graduate at a rate of only 69%, that means only 69 of those 100 will walk across the stage. Well, what about the other 31? How come in a city with 24,000 people, which is consisted of highly skilled and decently paid teachers who are educated and trained in the area of addressing the needs of all of its students, will we not better be able to address the issues of such a small community? There needs to be an emphasis on identifying the needs of minority students and being able to relate with them enough to fulfill those needs.
Yeah. Do you think your school understand how things are in this neighborhood?
Nah, they don't.
Why don't they?
Because they're not from here. Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
I honestly think they don't know how our neighborhoods are or how we live because they haven't been through what we've been through. They just don't know what's going on in our life. So
it's kind of hard for somebody to help you if they don't know where you come from or what you've been through.
Put themselves in our shoes.
I was amazed at how much high school students in the Black community had to say, and people in general, if you just give them a chance to speak. Just being able to meet some of the young Black people in my neighborhood who were trying to make it through the education system. But I knew that they needed to do more than make it through. And the school needed to do more than to just get them to cooperate with a set of academic expectations. It needed to recognize their interests, hone in on their specific skill sets, and cater to those areas to develop them to the highest possible potential.
Yeah, I mean, we go through a lot. My mom, you know what I mean, she 5 kids. My father passed away, and she basically made me who I am today.
Enjoy going to school every day, because people do not enjoy going to school. Coming from me, I sometimes don't enjoy going to school because I don't feel like I have anything in the school that interests me. Write poems, and I like to draw and stuff, and they don't really do that in our school. I have to go to a different school to do that stuff, and I wouldn't want to do that at a different school. I would just like to stay in one school to do that. So I think that if we would to do more writing or poems and things to think about, it would be better for our school.
That's great. I agree. Nice work. All right, so is there anything else that you want to say to anybody who is watching this film? You guys did an awesome job, and thank you very, very much.
Be an individual, and God loves you everywhere.
Amen.
The honor of working as a teacher in this area, and as a teacher I was really shocked, not just at some of the things that I'm discussing here, but also in the viewpoint of some of the teachers who I've encountered, and I would hear them say things like, those students just don't care. And to put that kind of stigma on a student
makes it nearly impossible for a teacher to really effectively communicate and to address the needs of that student.